Galaxy Tab S4 from 2018 can be had for an absolute bargain online. But is this out of support tablet still worth it? Sponsored by ClearVPN. The big draw for this old tablet is the display. A 10.5 inch 1600 by 2560 Super AMOLED with all the benefits an OLED boasts, such as good viewing angles, perfect blacks, and vibrant punchy colours. This is absolutely what sets this apart from most tablets, where Samsung seems to have moved to only put AMOLEDs in the more expensive Plus devices. You'll be very hard pressed to find a screen this good for the price these days, with the only thing giving away its age being the squared off corners over more modern rounded ones. We do get S Pen usage here too, assuming the pen hasn't been lost. I prefer using the S Pen from the S6 Lite anyway, as it's a bit more streamlined. It won't snap to the sides as firmly as it did on the S6 Lite, but it can still hitch a ride. Performance still holds up, especially if you've experienced some of Samsung's recent budget offerings, which only offer enough grunt for simple tasks. Obviously, the Snapdragon 835 is pretty old now. In fact, it was already over a year old when the S4 was launched. Benchmarking really gives away its age, but beyond that, it does at least show the balance offered by the old 835, providing reasonable multi-threaded performance and decent graphical compute, paired with either 4 or 6 gigs of RAM, and there are no obvious bottlenecks holding this back. So much so that compared to other budget offerings, gaming was pretty good on the S4. We can run bigger games at low settings, but I'm always more partial to the more casual games anyway. Emulation is an excellent option though, being bright and fun whether you're using touch controls, a Bluetooth controller, or the S Pen. One of the advantages of being a previous flagship device is the build quality is top notch, with this Gorilla Glass 3 sandwich feeling solid and heavy. It's very well made and every surface just feels good, and it even has a headphone jack. It might be a personal preference, but I do actually prefer the aluminium of cheaper devices though, as they feel a bit less delicate, but nothing a case can't fix. The overall design doesn't actually feel dated either, which is either a credit to the device or commentary on the recent tablet market. The S4 was part of the first wave of Samsung's modern tablets, where they seem to actually start trying, with the previous Tab S3 still sporting the front button and logo, looking very dated. I never managed to get my hands on a keyboard attachment for this, but they are still floating around, and I do always appreciate the Pogo connection and DeX to really make the experience worthwhile. Software-wise, its age is definitely working against it, as we obviously haven't had a major update in quite some time, with even security patches ending with the June 2022 version, and we don't have much in the way of custom ROM support either. Still, One UI 2.1 Android 10 isn't exactly a bad version to end with. It's still of course Samsung, so has all the drawbacks like its weird app drawer and bloat, but these things can be worked around. It has all the main things I'm after in a tablet, where earlier Android versions are just missing too much. Digital well-being, decent permissions, and full Android gestures all came in the last feature update. Without these, the S4 would be a no-go for me. It is missing more modern granular notifications and permission settings, customizations, slicker animations, widgets, and theming. But honestly, I find it absolutely enough for my casual tablet use, with apps like Chrome still getting updates, protecting the majority of your browsing anyway. The lack of security is more something to be mindful of, but generally shouldn't impact you if you practice good cyber safety, unless you leave your device laying around and expect your important documents to stay secret. how cheap the S4 can be had online, challenging the likes of budget tabs, it really makes for a compelling device. If you do worry a bit more about security, needing to store confidential information, or just need more recent Android features, a newer tab will be for you. Something that can go a long way in offsetting the S4 security flaws is adding a bit of extra protection with something like a VPN. ClearVPN is an intuitive product which helps make what can sometimes be an intimidating process simple and straightforward. They believe privacy is a fundamental human right, so as such, feature a strict no-log policy. I personally use a VPN every day to bypass pesky geo-blocked content and provide extra protection. But even more than that, even in a country like Australia, it can feel like a prudent step, where ISPs are mandated to keep metadata for 2 years, and government agencies have a history of accessing randomly. These kind of actions aren't unique to Australia either, and a VPN goes a long way in keeping your data a bit safer, making VPN use part of my daily habit. Check out the description for more information and a discount code to help make ClearVPN your daily habit too.